right? Our job is to be in our own heart. And the more and more we're able to be in our own heart, the more and more we'll be able to meet our children in theirs. But like, we've got to do the work for that, because they are more in their heart than we are, right? So in order to meet them, and we really say like our children are our greatest awakeners, it's for this reason. It's because of this, because they are naturally, right? And that's how we all are, like truly, right? And how we were before we adult, our adult selves became conditioned. We were like that too, where we felt everything fully. And when you feel things in fully, right? And you experience a certain intensity when it comes to emotion, right? Like, it's just, everything is full. Joy is full. Sadness is full. It feels like grief, right? Everything is full. And so, like, to remind ourselves, like, okay, my child is perfect in that sense. He already naturally is the way that human beings are supposed to be. Now, how do I meet him at his depth of feeling, at the true depth of feeling? Because our mistake as a society, especially like when you're, even when you're surrounded by a lot of intelligent people, right? Our mistake is to rationalize. Oh, it's okay, you didn't get that toy, at least, you got that trophy in swim. It's okay that, that person, didn't want to play with you. We're getting ice cream today. Or, you're still really smart, right? You're still really kind. And even that justification, right? Even a good one, even one that makes sense, one that is true, right? Still does not deal with the root of the issue, which is the feeling itself is not addressed, as in the way to address the feeling is really just to be with it. That must have really sucked, right? Not being able to play with your friends, or not being invited to that party, right? To be in that feeling myself when my kid comes to me, right? That's scary. That must have really sucked that the other thing happened to you, or you got rejected, or you didn't get an A, like, and not just to use those specific words every time, but the point is to be true in your feeling, right? And true in the moment. And when you're true in the moment, of course, it's going to, like, whatever you say, your speaking will arise organically. Your words will come organically. And it'll just be very natural. It'll just be like it'll be like talking to your best friend, right? That must have been really hard that you had COVID and you were out of work for that long. That must have been really hard for your family. Like, to really feel that. And sometimes I think what can be difficult is that maybe we're not able to relate, because we've had so many years of living by now, right? We're further removed from our our children's experience than we are from our our adult peers, right? But it's that same, the feeling is still the same. The hurt is still the same, right? In a child's world, like not getting to play with somebody, right? We can think that's a big deal, but really, like, even imagining, like, oh my gosh, like I didn't get invited to, an event that I really wanted to go to, or somebody, that I thought was close to me, to their house, or to their party, or to their baby's, baby shower, like, that hurts. It hurts. Pain hurts. Rejection hurts. Suffering hurts. And emotions and feelings can be really difficult. Like, that's the other half of life, right? The one side is joy and beauty, and the other is terror and brutality and darkness and just ugly and just pain and suffering. And the idea is just the same, right? Pain is pain, right? Pain hurts. And just to allow yourself, right, to recognize, okay, my child is hurting, right? Like that's something that, must have hurt my child, must have been really hard for my child. and to acknowledge that, like, in your experience with them, right? But I think when you acknowledge it in yourself, like even just thinking about it, like, in my own time, like, oh my God, that must have been really hard for my kid, not getting invited to, like, everybody in his class got invited to his, his friends, his classmates' birthday party except for him. Like, that must have, and he found out about, like, that everybody else was invited. Like, that must have sucked, like, for my kid. That must have been really hard, like, to find out, and now to not be included. As a society, we've grown more and more to living in our head, right? Less and less living in our heart. And really, this is the return home. It's the return home to presence, right? To being here, to being fully here in the moment, and to be with every experience that we've avoided, pushed away, distracted ourselves from, numbed, or inflicted on somebody else because we weren't willing to feel it, right? To now be with that. Now is the time. Now begins the time to be with every experience and to return home. Now is the time to return home. Now we begin on the journey home. And so be with every experience that you are having, and that will really help you raise your child in the best way that will preserve their natural beauty, their authenticity, how raw they are, how intensely they feel and experience life, because it is that part of us that truly is our magic. That part of us is the one that goes on and changes the world. It's that part of us. So find that part in yourself, deepen into that every moment, and preserve that in your child. I love you so much. I'll see you soon.